All right, and we are live. Good evening po sa inyong mga kaguro. And of course, welcome back to Gurong Pinoy. We would like to especially welcome back the members of Team Peshe. Again, if you are a member of Team Peshe, you can answer our quizzes. You can have a copy of all the materials that we have. Kung pwede nyo pong balikan lahat ng ating mga previous videos, lahat ng ating mga PDF files. And of course, you can join our pre-board and our final coaching. Wala po tayong separate na payment. Now, again, wala po tayong separate na payment for just the pre-board and the final coaching. The only way that you can join our pre-board and final coaching is by becoming a member of Team PSA. So again, if you will be taking the LET this September, magpa-member na po kayo, just send us a message to our Facebook page. Kapag ka nakapag-send na po kayo, pag wala pa pong reply, hintayin nyo lamang po yung reply ng ating admin. No? Babalikan po lahat ng admin yung atin po mga messages. So again, just send us a message to our Facebook page and become a member of Team PSA if you will be taking your LET this September 2022. Now, we are going to have our pre-board. Our pre-board is scheduled on August 26. That's for general education. It's 150 items, which is going to be open from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. No? So until 10 p.m. po pwede pa po kayong sumagot ng ating 150 item test for general education. For professional education naman, that will be on August 29th. That's still 150 items from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. Now, the final coaching discussion of all your pre-board items will be from August 31st until September 23rd. That's MWF 7 p.m. Philippine time. So again, you will be taking your LEP on September 25th. No? So September 23 po yung end ng ating discussion with Team Piaget. Now again, this is just exclusive for the members of Team Piaget. Again, if you want to join our pre-board and final coaching, become a member of Team Piaget. Send us a message through our Facebook page kung saan po kayo nanonood ngayon if you are watching us on Facebook. If you are a member of Team Piaget, doon po kayo manood sa ating team, no, para hindi po napuputol yung ating video. And of course, if you are watching us on YouTube, also po pwede po kayong pumunta sa Facebook later and send us a message to our Facebook page if you'd want to join Team Piaget. Now, our intensive coaching for majorship, our schedule is on the screen. Your schedule for majorship, our majorships that are available are English, Math, Biology, MAPE, Social Science, and Filipino. And you have the following schedule: August 20, 27. Then you have September 3, 10, 17, and 18. That's all Saturdays and Sundays on 7 p.m. So again, these are live sessions with your coaches. This is aside from those materials that you already have in your group. So kanya-kanyang groups tayo sa ating majorship. Meron na po silang videos doon. Meron na po silang mga PDF files doon. Meron din Microsoft Word. And of course, sa live sessions naman, you will be meeting your coaches and you'll be answering your items, and your schedule is found on the screen right now. So make sure that you screenshot the video, the schedule, no, para alam niyo po kung kailan kayo pupunta sa inyong teams. That's Saturdays and Sundays, para wala pong conflict sa ating MWF na schedule. Now, if you will be taking the LET sa March naman of next year, we have our newest team, which is Team Brunner, and our orientation will be on October 2nd. Okay, October 2. That's our orientation, and our review would start with our diagnostic test that will be on October 8th. Okay? Now, thank you so much po sa lahat ng ating mga star senders tonight. Please do like, love, share this video, start a watch party, tag your friends. Of course, send us stars if you can on Facebook. And of course, also send us super chat, super stickers naman on YouTube. No? Again, we are doing our live stream in the Philippines. So if meron pong maputol, kapag naputol po yung video natin for power interruption, babalik po tayo. No? Alam naman natin sa Pilipinas palaging brown out. At kung inyo pong naririnig, yung anak ko po, no, I have a 2-month-old son, nagpabakuna kanina, so medyo may masungit ngayon yung aking son. Okay, so pagpaumanhin niyo po kung meron kayo naririnig na parang umiiyak sa background. Okay? Now, this is professional education tonight, but before we start, of course, let's all have our opening prayer. Samahan niyo po ako, mga kaguro. Dear Lord, I come to you to ask for your guidance and direction in this study session. I ask that the Holy Spirit fill me with strength, creativity, and understanding to get through my studies without difficulty or sin. Help me hold my focus and attention. Help me to retain all that I learn. Please make my mind sharp and keep distractions at bay. If any part of my studying is weak or lacking in some way, let it be revealed so that I may correct it. Thank you for this opportunity to learn. Amen. Now, once again, this is professional education. Again, please do like, love, share our video, start a watch party, tag your friends. Of course, send us stars on Facebook, super chat, super stickers naman on YouTube. And of course, pag paumanhin nyo na yung aking anak medyo masungit ngayon because of his vaccine. Okay, so again, pag merong interruption, babalik po tayo. Abangan nyo po ang ating pagbabalik. Ayan, si Ma'am Gina Biamodo, meron din siyang 1 month old na baby. No? So, trabaho muna yung nanay habang umiiyak po yung bata. Babalikan natin yung mga anak natin later. No? So, again, napaka-convenient ng ating online review kasi kahit na tayo may trabaho, kahit na tayo ay mga nanay, tatay, mga online sellers, no? Meron tayong iba't ibang jobs, may mga side gigs po, pwede po nating balikan yung ating videos, especially if you are a member of Team Piaget. At dyan din po sa ating mga majorship po, pwede nyo pong balikan yung mga videos kapag ka medyo mahina yung signal nyo ngayon, or kapag ka hindi kayo nakaka-attend ng live stream po, pwede pa rin pong balikan yung ating video. Okay. Now, again, please do like, love, share our video, start a watch party, tag your friends, send a star, super chat, super stickers. We start with Prof at number 1. Researchers found that when a child is engaged in a learning experience, a number of areas of the brain are simultaneously activated. What is an application of this in the teaching learning process? Number 1, make use of field trips, guest speakers. Number 2, do multicultural units of study. Number 3, stick to the left brain and right brain approach. Is it letter A, 2 only, letter B, 1 only, letter C, 1 and 3, or letter D, 1 and 2? What is our choice for question number 1? Ay, naririnig nyo ba yung fan? Dito kasi sa gilid ko may fan. Patayin ko po. Ayon. Nakalimutan kong patayin. Ma'am Janet Kulita, punta po kayo sa Facebook, tapos i-type nyo po sa search box yung Team Piaget. Okay, dapat po nakikita nyo at na-open nyo kapag kayo po ay member na ng Team Piaget. Ma'am Amy D, sa totoo lang, palapit ng palapit ang September, mas bumaba ang score ko dito, nakakapanghina ng loob. Sobrang nahirapan ako sa Gen Ed at Prof. And ngayon, di ako nakakapasa parate. Okay lang po yan, ma'am. No? Remember, making mistakes is one of the best methods of learning. Okay? So, marami po tayong testimonials ng mga LPTs na dati ay palaging ligwak sa ating quizzes, pero nakakapasa po sa actual na LEP. Okay? So, kapit lamang po. Huwag pong give up. No? So, drills lang ng drills. Practice lang ng practice. And of course, ay balikan po lahat ng ating videos. No, ganyan. Iyak pa rin siya ng iyak, no? Okay, letter D. I see a lot of letter D. Letter D kaya ang tumpak na choice for question number 1. Okay, so sabi dito ng number 1, sabi ng researches natin, a child is engaged in a learning, when a child is engaged in a learning experience, a number of areas of the brain are simultaneously activated. When you say simultaneous, of course, sabay-sabay na a-activate ang iba't ibang bahagi ng ating brain. No? So ano yung application nito sa teaching learning process? Should you make use of field trips and guest speakers? That means if you all know, no, if you go to a field trip, maraming simulation, no? Maraming simulators, I mean. No? So, nasi-stimulate iba't ibang parte ng inyong brain. If you are listening to a guest speaker, you are thinking, you are listening, you can hear, and you can, of course, see the guest speaker. Number 2, do multicultural units of study. Iba't ibang kultura ang inyong pag-aralan. Or number 3, stick to the left brain and right brain approach. That means merong division ang brain, no, left side of the brain and right side of the brain na distinct. hindi sila nag-merge or hindi sila nako-combine. Yan yung ibig sabihin ng number 3 mo. And so the correct choice for number 1 is letter D. Tumpak yung letter D, 1 and 2. Okay, hindi po kasama yung stick to the left brain and right brain approach, because if you are going to use the left brain, right brain approach, then that means exclusive yung paggamit mo ng side of your brain. Pero sabi kasi sa ating question, different areas of the brain are simultaneously activated. So hindi po pwedeng kasama yung ating number 3 for this question. Okay, so letter D ang tumpak na choice for question number 1. Now let's take a look at the left side and the right side of the brain. Now left side versus the right side of the brain. Ayon sa researches, no, if you are using the right hand, if you are right-handed, then that means you are using the majority of the left side of your brain. So left side of the brain, yung majority na iyong ginagamit. So kapag ka right-handed ka, left side po ng brain yung inyong ginagamit. No? So some of your characteristics would be you are very good at using numbers. You are very analytical. No? You are an analytical thinker. You are very, very tedious. Yung parang gustong-gusto mo lagi may detalye, no? Detalyado lahat. Now, if you are left-handed naman, you are using the majority of the right side of the brain. So this is pertaining to your EQ, emotional quotients or emotional intelligence. Your imagination is wild. Your imagination is rich. And you are a very creative person. So kung inyo pong napapansin, karamihan ng ating mga artists, no, karamihan ng mga magagaling sa drawing, yung mga painters natin, yung mga magagaling sa drawing are left-handed. No? So left-handed sila. They are using the right side of the brain that pertains to creativity. Okay? So yan po yung pagkakaiba ng left side and right side ng ating brain. But the correct choice for number 1 is letter D. So 1 and 2 ang tumpak na choice for question number 1. We go to number 2. Teacher Yu asked her pupils to create a story out of the given pictures. Which projective technique did teacher Yu use? Is it letter A, Rorschach test, letter B, narrative, letter C, thematic apperception test, or letter D, reflective? Okay, what is our choice for number 2? Pasalamatan ko lamang yung ating mga star senders. Si Sir Esel Rico Felicia or Ma'am Esel Rico Felicia. Ma'am Jenny Cayetano Hardin, maraming salamat po for sending us 75 stars. Si Ma'am Maria Lizelle Gapul, maraming salamat for the 75 stars. Ganun din kay Ma'am Flor Ellen, 85 stars. Thank you po. Sir Adolfo Montano, sending 75 stars. Maraming salamat po. Ganun din kay Ma'am Marilyn F. Ningas, 75 stars. Maraming salamat. Ma'am Del Aire El Marino, 75 stars. Maraming salamat po. Okay, for number 2, I see C's in our comment box. Meron ding iilang letter D, no? Yung question number 2 is tricky, no? Napaka-confusing ng ating question number 2. Kasi sabi niya, the pupil was asked to create a story. Okay, so the pupil was asked to create a story. Pwede mong isipin na narrative ito because of course when you are saying narrative, it's narration. It's a form of a story. Ganon din naman yung reflective. No? If you are reflecting, then you are writing. No? You are writing about your experience. You are writing about your emotions. You are writing about your feelings. Remember, sa number 2, teacher Yu asked her pupils to create a story. Pero, yung pinaka-hint mo dito are the terms, okay, the terms creating a story out of the given pictures. Ito po yung pinaka-importanting parte ng ating question, no? Pinagamit sila ng pictures, binigyan sila ng pictures, and they were asked to create a story when the pictures were given to them. Okay, so which projective technique did the teacher use? And so the correct choice here is letter C. You call this the thematic apperception test. Okay, so letter C po ang ating tumpak na choice for question number 2. Now, narrative again, that's narration. Okay, so stories din yung narrative. Reflective, of course, you are reflecting on your emotions and your experiences. You are writing about what you have been through. No, that's reflection. Pero yung thematic apperception test mo, This is picture interpretation. Okay, so it's a picture interpretation technique using a series of provocative yet ambiguous pictures about which the subject is asked to tell a story. So when you say provocative, nakaka-provoke, no? Nakakapukaw ng atensyon, nakakapukaw ng damdamin, pero ambiguous. That means maaring iba-iba yung ating interpretation. Hindi siya klaro, no? So vague siya. Okay, so this is thematic apperception test. Kaya ito yung ating tumpak na choice kanina kasi sabi ni Teacher Yu, write a story based on the picture that you see, based on the picture that you are given. Okay? And so letter C po ang ating tumpak na choice. Now your Rorschach, ito naman yung Rorschach mo. Rorschach test is a projective psychological test in which subjects' perceptions of ink blots naman yung gamit, no? So blots ng ink are recorded and analyzed. Okay, so the students, the people, are asked to analyze, are asked to interpret the different ink blots that they see. So sabi dito no sa ating example, I googled Rorschach test but all that came up were pictures of my parents fighting. Okay? So maaring may pinagdadaanan yung taong nag-i-interpret ng ating ink blots kaya yung nakikita niya are his parents who are fighting. Okay? So ito yung example ng ating Rorschach test. But again, our choice is thematic apperception and that is letter C. Okay? Pasalamatan ko lamang si Ma'am Gail and Ngopangop for giving us super sticker on YouTube. Maraming salamat po. Okay, we move on with question number 3. Professionalization of teachers and teaching as promulgated in PD number 1006 defines teaching as profession concerned with classroom institution, letter A, by teachers on full-time basis, letter B, at the tertiary level in both public and private institutions, letter C, at the elementary and secondary levels in both public and private schools, letter D, by teachers of permanent status. Okay, what's your choice for question number 3? Number 3, what is our choice? Maraming salamat, Sir Arnel Hecomo Opimo for sending us 75 stars. Thank you po. Ma'am Christy Soria, 75 stars. Ma'am Mary Grace Isaac Iglesia, 75 stars. Sir Kenneth Cabuena, 75 stars. Thank you so much. Again, for those of you who are asking kung paano po makasali sa ating final coaching, please become a member of Team Piaget. Wala po tayong separate na payment for our final coaching, but you can only join by becoming a member of Team Piaget. So mag-send po kayo ng message sa ating Facebook page. Basahin ko lang yung comment ni Ma'am Diana Hyber. Nawala na yung comment ni Ma'am. Natambakan na yung comment ni Ma'am, no? But she was saying thank you for passing the let, no? Sa tulong ng Gurong Pinoy. So maraming salamat po. And of course, congratulations, Ma'am Diana. Isa na siyang LPT. Okay, I see a lot of letter C's for number 3. And letter C, of course, ang ating hinahanap dito, no? At the elementary and secondary levels in both public and private schools. Okay, so letter C ang tumpak na choice for question number 3. Because according to PD 1006, the definition of teachers, no, sa ating PD 1006, teachers refers to all persons engaged in teaching at the elementary and secondary levels, whether on a full-time or part-time, kahit part-time po kasali, including guidance counselors, school librarians, industrial arts, or vocational teachers, and all other persons performing supervisory and or administrative functions in all schools in the aforesaid levels and legally qualified to practice teaching under this decree. So, ibig sabihin, kahit po hindi nagtuturo, kahit parte lamang siya ng admin, is referred pa rin siya as a teacher. No? So, under sa PD 1006 mo, teacher pa rin siya, full-time or part-time, guidance counselor, librarian, voc-tech teachers, admin mo, kasama pa rin, no? Basta at the elementary and secondary levels, hindi po kasali yung tertiary level. Okay? So, hindi po kasali yung mga colleges nyo and ang inyong universities. Okay? So, again, for number 3, our correct choice is letter C. We go to number 4. What objectives do effective leaders foster? 1. Attainable. 2. Measurable. 3. Results-oriented. 4. Specific. 5, time bound. And you have your choices at the bottom. Is it letter A, 2, 3, and 4? Letter B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Letter C, 1, 4, and 5. Or letter D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. What is your choice? Number 4. Ma'am Eileen Faustino, maraming salamat for the 75 stars. Thank you po. Ma'am Amaya Maria or Maria Lorna, maraming salamat for the 75 stars. Thank you. Ma'am Sorianos Allshop, 75 stars. Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat kay Ma'am Rowena Estrebor Taton. Thank you, Gurong Pinoy, sabi ni Ma'am Rowena. No? So, maaring LPT na si Ma'am Rowena. Ma'am Nalua Zes Bernard, 85 stars. Thank you po. Ma'am Mary Lou M. Fuente Blanca, 75 stars. Maraming salamat po. Sir Bulislis Sublino Raki, 75 stars. Thank you. Sir Job Baldon, 75 stars. Thank you. Ma'am Michelle Orpia Landicho, 75 stars. Maraming salamat po. Okay, I see a lot of letter P's, and that is tumpak. No, all of these are actually characteristics of your objectives. Remember, for objectives, we say SMART. Okay, so it should be specific. It should not be vague. No, when you say vague, unclear, hindi siya klaro. So dapat when you are writing your objective, it should be very specific. No, napakaklaro, dapat very specific. Measurable with numbers. It can be graded, and hindi nga tayo gumagamit ng verb na understand sa ating lesson o sa ating objective, because when you say understanding, sometimes you cannot measure it. Okay, so you don't use the term or the verb understand sa inyong objective. It should be measurable with numbers po pwede mong i-grade. It should be attainable. It should be possible to achieve. So dapat akma sa grade level ng inyong estudyante. Dapat akma sa inyong time, no? So kasama din yung letter T mo dito, time bound. It should have an end point. Pag sinabi mong at the end of the day, at the end of the session, dapat talagang at the end of the session, na-reach na ng inyong students yung goal na yan, yung objective na yan, or yung target na yan. And of course, it should be results-oriented and tied to the goals or your objectives. Okay, so that's SMART. And all of these would be your SMART also, S-M-A-R-T. And so all of these are tumpak. That is letter B. Okay, so letter B ang tumpak na choice for number 4. Congratulations. Sa mga nakahula, no, nakatama. Sa mga ligwak naman, better luck next time. But of course, papasa sa September. Okay, we go to number 5. Bernadette enjoyed the roller coaster when they went to the Enchanted Kingdom. Just at the sight of a roller coaster, she gets excited. Which theory explains Bernadette's behavior? Letter A, operant conditioning. Letter B, attribution theory. Letter C, Pavlovian conditioning. Or letter D, social learning theory. What is our choice for number 5? Okay, this is a very common question. Paulit-ulit na po itong question natin, no? What do you think is the correct choice for number 5? Okay, letter C. Letter C kaya ang tumpak na choice for number 5? Okay, so sabi ng number 5 mo, na-enjoy ni Bernadette yung roller coaster, no, nung pumunta sila sa Enchanted Kingdom. So now, every time she sees a roller coaster, she gets excited. And of course, this means that your Pavlovian conditioning. This is your classical conditioning theory by Ivan Pavlov. So letter C, Pavlovian conditioning is tatumpak na choice. Tama yan, nakita ko sa comment kanina. This is excitation. No? Na-excite siya, meron siyang response to a certain stimulus. Okay, now, Pavlovian conditioning, of course, is by Ivan Pavlov. This is classical conditioning theory. As you can remember, si Pavlov ay gumamit ng aso at ng bell at ng meat. Okay, now remember there is another question according to this select, no, what was Ivan Pavlov's original research? No, original research niya was how the digestive system of dogs work. So yun talaga yung gusto niyang pag-aralan. But of course, eventually, he was able to come up with classical conditioning theory. Okay, so you have what you call your unconditioned stimulus. When you say stimulus here, no, yung S natin dito is stimulus, that means anything that would make us respond. So pag stimulus, ito yung isang bagay, po pwedeng internal, po pwedeng external, na nakakapag-excite sa atin, na nakakapag-respond sa atin. No? So it would elicit a response, a reaction from you. Your R here is reaction or response. Okay, so yan naman yung reaction or response. Now, when you say unconditioned stimulus, this is a natural stimulus, so hindi siya kinondisyon. So whenever the dog gives or the dog sees meat, which is an unconditioned stimulus, naglalaway na kaagad ang aso. Okay, so unconditioned stimulus alone, meron ng reaction. Ang reaction niya, of course, would be paglalaway. Now, yung bell mo dito is your conditioned stimulus. Ito yung stimulus na hindi natural. Ginamit lamang siya for conditioning. No? So, at first, conditioned stimulus lamang yung ginamit niya, bell lamang, walang reaction yung dog. Okay, so walang reaction yung aso niya. Now, eventually, what he did was he paired his conditioned stimulus with his unconditioned stimulus, with his natural stimulus. So every time that he would give the meat sa kanyang aso, ay iriring din niya yung bell, no? So naglalawa yung aso, merong response. And so eventually, kahit na bell na lamang yung kanyang niriring, wala na yung meat, ay naglalaway na yung aso, no? So CS alone, there now has some response coming from the dog. Okay, so this is your classical conditioning theory. Common questions in the LET about this would be your trauma and your phobia. No? So trauma, phobia, yan po yung mga common na questions natin with regarding classical conditioning sa LET. Okay, now your operant conditioning theory, of course, this is by B.F. Skinner, Burroughs Frederick Skinner. At ito naman po yung reward and punishment natin. Also, reward and punishment applied in behavioral therapy creates change based on rewards and punishments, promotes good choices and deters bad choices. And motivation relies on choice rather than instinct alone. Hindi lamang sa instinct pero nagme-make ng choice yung isang tao. No? So we'd usually do this or we'd usually use this at home if we are training our kids. Po pwede din siyang gamitin. If you are training your pets, no, sa mga fur mommies, sa mga fur daddies, ginagawa mo rin to. And if you are, of course, you are in a classroom with your students, you give rewards so that they can have good behavior. They can continue doing good behavior, but you also give punishment para naman maiwasan nila yung bad behavior. Okay, so that's operant conditioning. Again, B.F. Skinner, operant conditioning, reward, punishment, kasama din po yung reinforcement, feedback, and computer-aided instruction. No? Reinforcement, feedback, and computer-aided instruction, kasama din kay B.F. Skinner. Maraming salamat, Ma'am Mary Rose Mamon Pasiderio, for giving us super sticker sa YouTube. Okay, now ito naman yung kay Weiner, yung attribution model. Sabi naman ni Weiner, every time that a person behaves in a certain way, there is a cause. Okay, so merong cause lagi no sa behavior ng isang tao. Now, depende sa cause, no? Kung ang cause ba is internal, it can also be external. At po pwede din na yung cause ng kanyang behavior is stable, po pwede din namang unstable. Okay, so you have some examples here. If your cause is internal and it's stable, you'd call that ability. If the cause is internal but it is unstable, you'd call that effort. No? Hindi ka talaga innately talented, you don't really have that ability, pero nag-e-effort ka. No? So unstable siya, pero it is internal. You push yourself to do something. Now, if the cause is external and stable, it can be your task difficulty. No? Napakahirap ng task na iyong ginagawa. Your cause is external but unstable. Depende sa panahon, you'd call that luck. No? So weather. Minsan siniswerte, minsan naman minamalas. So this is Weiner's attribution model. Again, when you say attribution model, the cause of certain behaviors or people behave in such a way because of certain causes. Palaging may rason kung bakit nag-behave tayo in such a way. No? Bakit ka kaya iniwan ng inyong boyfriend? Merong palaging cause. Okay? Merong cause, sabi ni Weiner. That's the attribution model. Then, of course, social learning theory is by Albert Bandura. This means we can learn by imitation and also by observation. So, napaka-importante that we are role models, that we are models to our kids and also to our students, because what children see, they'd follow. No? So, children see, children do. People can learn through observation. Mental states are also important in learning. And sometimes, learning does not necessarily lead to behavior change. Kahit na na-observe na niya, sometimes medyo may katigasan din yung ulo ng bata, ayaw niyang i-change yung kanyang behavior. Okay? So, this again is social learning theory by Albert Bandura. But then again, ang atin pong hinahanap was classical conditioning theory, Pavlovian conditioning. That was letter C. We go to number 6. Which of the following represents a minuscule curriculum? Letter A, textbook that learners use. Letter B, lesson plan that teachers prepare. Letter C, reference materials that supplement the text. Or letter D, lecture notes of the teacher. What's your choice for number 6? Ma'am Jenny Juarez, maraming salamat po for your 75 stars. Ganun din kay Ma'am Angelica Torres, 75 stars. Ma'am Cel Fabrero Famisan, 75 stars. Thank you po. Ma'am Donna Espartina, 75 stars. Maraming salamat po. Ma'am Leona Hapor, 75 stars. Sir Kevin Española Tejero, 75 stars. Maraming salamat po. Okay, now going back to number 6. Sabi ng number 6 mo, which of the following represents a minuscule curriculum? Now, when you say minuscule, ito po ay maliit, no? Maliit na curriculum, no? So, short curriculum, example ng isang maliit na curriculum, okay? So, minuscule curriculum. And the correct choice, of course, here would be letter B, lesson plan that teachers prepare, okay? Remember, when you say curriculum, it is everything, all the experiences that the students would go through. And of course, in your lesson plan, you plan, no, you plan all the experiences, the materials, the instructional materials, the assessment, all the activities that your students are going to do. Okay, so this here is our choice. Letter D po ang tumpak na choice for number 6. We go to number 7. The Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers stipulates that educational institutions shall offer quality education for all Filipino citizens. How is quality education defined in RA 9155? Letter A, relevance and excellence of education are emphasized to meet the needs and aspirations of an individual and society. Letter B, all school-age children should be provided free and compulsory education. Letter C, children with special needs should be mainstreamed with regular classes in the public schools. Or letter D, public and private basic education schools should provide relevant education. What's your choice for number 7? Again, wag pong kalimutang i-like at i-love yung ating video. And of course, please do share our video so that we can reach out to more people. Para po yung mga marites yung kapitbahay, marites yung kaklase ay makakita din ng Gurong Pinoy, makawatch din ng Gurong Pinoy. Baka sakaling matulungan din sila ng Gurong Pinoy. Okay, so maraming salamat po to all our sharers and of course, ganun din sa mga nag-start na ng watch party sa Facebook. Okay, 7, I see a lot of letter A's. And the correct choice, of course, is letter A, no? So this is our choice. Kasi ito talaga yung nakalagay sa RA 9155 natin, word per word, no? So verbatim. Ito talaga yung nakalagay. How is quality education? This is a definition of quality education in RA 9155. Puntahan po natin yung ating next slide. RA 9155 is also known as Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. And as I have mentioned, yung kanya pong definition of quality education is the appropriateness, relevance, and excellence of the education given to meet the needs and aspirations of an individual and society. And as you can see, yan po yung nakalagay sa ating letter A, no? So word per word po ito, verbatim as it is, kinuha siya from your RA 9155. So sometimes the LET would copy the words, no, na word per word, verbatim from a certain RA. So dapat you should be familiar with your RAs. Now, some more things about your RA 9155. Of course, this is the RA, the Republic Act that renamed Department of Education, Culture and Sports to Department of Education. No? So kinuha yung lahat ng parte pertaining to culture because this before, dati kasi tinatawag itong Department of Education, Culture and Sports. Ngayon, nagawa nilang siyang Department of Education. Lahat po ng parte na under culture ay binigay sa National Commission for Culture and the Arts or your NCCA. Lahat po ng parte na under sa sports naman ay binigay sa Philippine Sports Commission or your PSC. Okay, so that's also your RA 9155. We move on. Kung ligwak, move on kaagad. We go to number 8. What is the mean of this score distribution? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Letter A, 7. Letter B, 6. Letter C, 8.5. Or letter D, 7.5. What is our choice for number 8? Ma'am Aiza May Lagaras, maraming salamat po for 75 stars. Ma'am Linlin Legaspi Cabusas, thank you for your 75 stars. Ganun din kay Sir Reynald Magaraw, 75 stars. Ma'am Grace Umambak Rico, 75 stars. Ma'am Maricel Anis, 75 stars. Sir Joe Raguro, 75 stars. Sir CJ Espirito, 75 stars. Ma'am Noemi Pelayo Concepcion, 75 stars. Ma'am Carmela Makatangay Cruzat, 75 stars. Thank you so much po. Okay, for number 8, I see a lot of letter A's. You don't really need to solve for the answer, no? Dito sa ating number 8. Remember, your mean is the average, no? And for you to get the value for your average, you need to add up all the scores, then divide by the number of items. So in this case here, dapat i-add mo yung 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 and so on divided by 7, no? So divided by 7. Now, as you can see, kahit natitingnan mo lamang siya, alam mo na kung ano yung magiging sagot because 7 is your median, no? Tapos pa isa-isa lang naman yung difference ng inyong numbers. And meron kang tatlong numbers to the right, meron kang din namang tatlong numbers to the left. So, as you can see, alam mo na that your choice here should be letter A, 7, no? So, kahit na hindi mo na isolve, kahit na logic na lamang yung gamitin o kahit na common sense yung gamitin mo, alam mo na letter A ang ating tumpak na choice for number 8. Okay? So, 8 is letter A. We go to number 9. The instructions for a test are made simple, clear, and concise. This is part of which of the following characteristics of a good test? Letter A, objectivity. Letter B, economy. Letter C, administrability. Or letter D, scorability. Okay, what is our choice for number 9? If nakaligtaan ko po yung inyong names, no, sa atin pong mga star senders, super chatters, super sticker senders, pasensya na po. Natatakpan po kasi yung inyong comment, no? So kapag ka maraming nagko-comment, natatakpan po kasi yung inyong comment. So hindi ko po minsan nababasa. Okay, basahin ko yung comment ni Ma'am Thea Grahel VS. Helen S. Valdez, unit earner, let passer of June 2022. Nothing is impossible with Gurong Pinoy, the best coach, Ma'am Mek. Maraming salamat po. And of course, congratulations kay Ma'am Helen S. Valdez. Isa po siyang unit earner and ganap na po siyang LPT. So again, be like Ma'am Helen. Balikan po lahat ng ating videos. More than 500 videos na po tayo sa YouTube. And of course, more than 100K subscribers na tayo sa YouTube. Become a member of Team Piaget if you can. Mas effective po, no? Dahil dire-diretso ang ating panonood at po pwede pong balikan lahat ng mga nakaligtaan yung videos. And of course, become a member of Team Bruner if you'll be taking the LET naman in March. Okay, I see a lot of letter A's. Mukhang genocide yung ating number 9. Okay? Number 9. Sabi ng number 9 mo, Number 9 dito, the instructions for a test are made simple, clear, and concise. No? So, simple lamang yung instructions, Very clear, very concise. That means short, no? So hindi siya mahaba, hindi siya mapalabok yung instructions. This is part of which of the following characteristics of a good test? Ang tumpak na choice po natin dito is letter C, administrability. Madali siyang i-administer, madali siyang ibigay na klase ng test kasi hindi mahirap i-instruct yung students, no? So, very short ang kanyang instructions, simple at clear. So, administrability po yung ating hinahanap dito. Sabi ng isa, ma'am, ano po yung genocide, no? Isa po siyang term natin dito. Pag sinabi pong genocide, that means maraming ligwak, no? So, pag ikaw ay ligwak, for question number 9, taas ang kamay, say present, no? Agoy, sabi ng isa. Ganun po talaga, kahit naligwak, okay lang po yan, no? Move on ka agad. Ayan, ang daming naligwak, no? Kaya po sinasabi natin genocide yung nangyari. Okay, so this is administrability, no? Madali siyang naibigay, madali siyang i-administer. Very simple yung pag-instruct sa students mo, no? Your let is not very easy to administer. Mahirap i-administer yung let kasi of course your PRC would be preparing the questions, your PRC would be training the proctors, and of course, once you are inside the classroom to take your let, marami pang instructions na meron pa kayong mga fini-fill up na forms. No? So, it is not very easy to administer. This is administrability. Now, yung objectivity po, when you say objective naman, objectivity ay fairness. Okay? So, this means fairness. That means wala kang bias, no? You are objective. We would do this whenever you check the essay, yung sinasabi nga nila pag nag-check ka ng essay ng inyong students, dapat nakatakip, natatakpan mo yung name, hindi mo nakikita yung name ng students mo, and dapat meron kang scoring rubric, no? So meron ka dapat rubric para fair ka, no? Hindi mo sasabihin na ay ang ganda ng kanyang sulat kamay, perfect na to. Ay ang pangit ng sulat kamay, hindi ko maintindihan. So X na to, no? 0 siya or 5/10 lamang siya. Objectivity means fairness. Okay, so for you to increase fairness, you should have rubrics. Common question po yan sa LET. No? We use rubrics to increase objectivity. Economy naman, this means hindi siya magastos i-administer na test. Hindi magastos na test. No? So your LET again is not very economic. No? So hindi din siya murang test ni administer. Maraming gastos yung PRC. Scorability naman means easy to score. Madali siyang i-score na klase ng test. No? So multiple choice tests are easy to score. Meron ko lamang answer key, no? Madali mo na siyang i-score. But of course, multiple choice tests are very difficult to make. Very difficult siya i-gawin or i-construct, but it is very easy to score. Okay, so for number 9 again, your correct choice is letter C, hindi po letter A. All right, we go to number 10. Which must be present for self-evaluation to succeed? Is it letter A, consensus between teacher and student regarding evaluation results? Letter B, teacher's approval of self-evaluation results. Letter C is teacher's monitoring of self-evaluation process. Or letter D, students' intrinsic motivation to learn. Paano nagiging successful yung self-evaluation? Okay, paano po nagiging successful yung self-evaluation? Remember, when you say self-evaluation, you are evaluating yourself. You are thinking about your thinking. You are learning about your learning. It is more on metacognition. You are checking your own progress. So, paano po ito nagiging successful? Okay, say your teacher would say, make a reflection about the things that you have learned in this lesson. Okay, I see a lot of letter D's for number 10. And letter D po ang ating tumpak na choice dito. No? If students want to learn, they have intrinsic motivation to learn. That means gusto talaga ng estudyante na mag-learn, then self-evaluation becomes successful. Because remember, self-evaluation is done by the students. Kung ayaw ng students na matuto, hindi magiging effective yung pag-i-evaluate nila sa kanilang pagkatuto. No? So dapat they are intrinsically motivated and their motivation should be coming from themselves. Okay? So letter D D po ang tumpak na choice for number 10. You remember the difference between your intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Now, when you say intrinsic motivation, this is something that comes from within the student, from within yourself. So, for example, your pride, your interest, your achievement, your curiosity. Gusto mo talagang matuto. You feel proud when you learn something. You are interested in learning something, or you want to achieve something. No, intrinsic motivation yan. But when you say extrinsic motivation, these are things that are outside of that person. So for example, grades, punishment, your praise, money, reward coming from your parents, trophies, medals, these are all extrinsic motivations. Okay? So letter D po yung hinahanap natin sa ating question number 10. We go to number 11. The observable manifestation of students' feelings, thoughts, or attitude are summed up as behavior. Every high school teacher is expected to contribute to the assessment of the student's behavior, but the grade is reflected in letter A, good manners and right conduct, letter B, values education, letter C, co-curricular activities, or letter D, curricular activities. What is our choice for question 11? All right, number 11, what is our choice?